An unconventional way to find your next client. Hey, it's Heather Chauvin, wife, mother of 3 boys, former social worker, dreamer, recovering rescuer, stage 4 cancer survivor. I started my motherhood journey when I was 18. I was single and living off government assistance. Beyond all of these titles and labels, I'm a human being, just like you, attempting to navigate it all while feeling good. My goal on this podcast is to show you that you can live an energized, sustainable life both at home and in your work. On this show, I attempt to keep it real with stories, interviews, and random thoughts. This is not a business or career podcast, and it's not a parenting podcast. It's both and so much more. You will laugh, you will cry, and maybe even get a little frustrated with the truth you've been hiding from yourself. I believe all human behavior is a language, whether it's through your child's behavior, your health, or a relationship. And when we learn to listen instead of react, we begin to understand what it truly means to feel alive and in control. If you haven't already, go grab a copy of my book, Dying to Be a Good Mother. You can purchase it wherever books are sold online. And if you're interested in how to integrate this work into your life and get quicker results, you can learn more about my mastery and mastery business coaching experiences at heatherchauvin.com/work with me. Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/work with me. And you have a personal question or a topic you'd like me to answer on this podcast, then text me 313-710-5199. 313-710-5199. All right, let's change your life. Let's dig in. Hey ladies, I am back and super excited for today's business podcast. I am absolutely loving all of your business questions and challenges that you are texting me. I want to hear yours. 313-710-5199. Today we're talking about the unconventional way to find your next client. So this podcast is perfect for a woman in business, and it doesn't matter what business you are in. Anyone in any industry could use this. You may have heard of it before, and I'm going to tell you what it is in a minute, but I have a different twist on it. I have a different twist as a consumer and also somebody who works with people on a regular basis, talking about their businesses, but also talking about the unconventional ways to do business that I see a lot of people getting tripped up on and feeling disconnect, with their clients or with their potential clients. And then they're wondering why, how come I have, access to all of these people, but I don't have, I'm not making the money or I'm not getting the clients that I want. So I'm going to give you that tip in a second. And before I do, I'm also just a gentle, friendly reminder that from now until October 1st, we have some fast action bonuses for our Mastery Business program. We're going to be talking about how to hire. We are going to be talking about mastering your money in your business and also how to get rockstar PR, which means media attention. So if you want access to those 3 trainings along with our Mastery Business program, which focuses on life and business, you can set up a conversation with somebody on my team. All you have to do is go to Heather Chauvin, that's CHAUVIN.com/work with me, fill out your name and your email and start there. All right, let's dive in. So an unconventional way to get your next client. So traditionally, when you start a business, everybody believes that you need a website and you need a product and you need a service, right? So depending on where you are, if you are in startup or you've already started up and you remember those awful, horrid startup days, the elbow grease and the fear of failure and all of that. I find the startup phase in business is very similar to the newborn phase of childhood because, everybody always wants to focus on the business. They always want to be like, what's wrong with the business? So I need this for the business. I need that for the business. Just like children, right? What's wrong with the baby? Why are they doing this? Why are they acting like this? Why are they acting like that? When in reality, what really needs to happen is we need to manage our own emotions. We need to manage our health. We need to manage our energy, our sleep, all of that in the newborn phase, because that makes such an impact on how we are nurturing our children, right? And also in our business, it's the exact same thing. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of am I doing this correctly? What's going on? Am I headed in the right direction? All of the big fears and overwhelm that happen in the startup phase. So once you've gained some clientele, once you have some clients, this is an unconventional way to get your next client. It's not sexy. The answer, you're going to get your next client from your current clients. Yep. You're going to get your next client from your current clients. But the way that I'm going to tell you how to do this is not necessarily the way that other people may tell you. So other people may say, and everyone's going to tell you different feedback, right? But you have to think, people will be like, yeah, referrals, like get referrals from your current clients. But they don't tell you how to do this. I've been asked for referrals many times. People have asked me like, hey, if you know anybody who needs my services, send them my way. And I say, okay, cool. And I actually give referrals. But here's the thing. I'm a busy person, right? I have a busy mind and I'm trying to run my own business, take care of my own family, all of that fun stuff. So you need to make it easy for your clients to refer people to you. But not only that, here's another thing that I'm going to say to you. I don't want to attend a customer appreciation event. I don't want to. I don't want you to give me anything else. That feels like an excessive, that feels like it's taking away from me, like it's added time. I want you to solve my problems in return. So here's what I mean. Anytime I am talking to somebody, it is strategic, but it has also become part of my personality because I have no attachment to this whatsoever. So whether you are talking to a current client, whether you are talking to a past client, whether you are talking to a colleague or a friend or a neighbor, you do this. Let's use the client for an example. If you had a client, you solve their problems, right? They're probably going to have new problems, right? New level, new devil. We all have challenges in our lives. And maybe it's a challenge that's not even in your area of expertise. So you're going to talk to your client, you're going to talk to your colleague, friend, whoever, and you're going to have a conversation with them. And you're going to say, you're actually going to genuinely, this is what's different about how I like to do this rather than how most people try to get me to send them referrals. You are going to genuinely, I can barely say that word, care about the person in front of you. And you're going to say, so what's coming up for you? Where are you at in your life? However you do your work, right? So if you're not like a coach and you are a real estate agent or a lawyer or somebody else who maybe doesn't get very vulnerable with their clients, where you're like, oh, how can I help you? Like, what challenge do you have, right? That person in front of you might say, we're traveling and I don't know, I'm looking for an Airbnb or I'm looking for a place to stay, a place to eat. The whole point is the person in front of you, you are trying to solve a problem for them. It might be, I need a resource. I need a website. It might be an emotional issue. So for me, it's always emotional issues for the people that I'm talking to, whether it's in my personal or professional life. Oftentimes people upper limiting themselves, people very afraid, living in fear, letting guilt run the show, just looking for permission, looking for connection. Like whatever your strength is, just give that away to somebody else. Give it away. So when I'm talking to a graduate of my program or an old client, and I'm not even looking for another client, but I just connect to that person. And the whole time I'm thinking, how can I give to this person? And you know what? Sometimes just the conversation itself is giving because I'm holding space for them and they're sharing something very vulnerable and they're crying and I say, thank you. And they're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I don't say thank you. They say thank you. They feel so much better because I held space for them. And here is the last part though. At the end of the conversation, you have to ask. If you don't ask for what you need, you're never going to receive it. There are people in my life all the time who do amazing things for me. And immediately, what do you want to do? What do you want to do for that person when they're kind to you? You want to give them a gift, right? I actually had somebody the other day say, I'm so incredibly uncomfortable. I feel like I need to give back to you. And I tell them all the time, send people to my podcast. Send people to my book. Buy some books and give it out to friends. If you know anybody who wants to join my coaching programs, then, send them my way. heatherchauvin.com/work with me. And the point of that is people want to give back when they have received. And a lot of times people are very uncomfortable receiving, so they want to give right away. So when you give something to somebody, and it's typically a resource, right? It doesn't have to be money. It can be some time. You should be investing in time in people, whether it's one-on-one or, in DMs, like you can do it via text messages or something. And you don't have to actually spend a lot of physical one-on-one time with people, but what you can do is just care, right? You might even see people are on their, social media. You might see where they're traveling on Instagram or something that's coming up on Instagram, and you send them a message and you're like, hey, I see what you're going through, and I just wanted to say thank you for sharing. You're not alone, and you're creating that relationship. And then they might say something like, oh, we're here. And you're like, oh my gosh, I stayed at I went to a restaurant nearby. Like, you need to check out this restaurant. They're amazing. And ask for Phil. Phil knows me. I don't know, but you're giving some value, right? And then at the end you say, you have to ask specifically, do you know anybody that would be a good fit for my services? Do you have any women in your life right now who are struggling with balancing work and family? Do you have a woman who's an entrepreneur who has a deep, deep desire to make a bigger impact in the world, and she's having a hard time with sales or client attraction, or really being seen and putting herself out there? And if they're like, yes, I do, I'm like, just think of one person. And then what I like to do is ask for a direct intro. So I'm like, how would you introduce that person to me? Do you want to do an intro via email? Do you want to do it text message? Do you want to do it on Instagram? And, and all you're doing, I know some of you may be like, oh my gosh, I could never be that assertive. But all you're doing is helping that person in front of you who wants to help you figure out that problem. Because here's the thing. If I say, yeah, if you know anybody, let me know, I'm going to say, okay. And then I'm not going to know how to connect them to you, right? Or I might not even know what your ideal client is that you're looking for. So let's pretend you're a lawyer and you say to me, hey, do you have any referrals? Well, what type of lawyer are you? You're a real estate lawyer. Great. Are you commercial? Are you residential? Like, who is your favorite client, right? You're a coach, you're a consultant. sometimes people, you don't even know that they have no idea who you actually work with. People don't even know who I work with, who my ideal client is. And you have to repeat yourself over and over and over again. So you have to tell people specifically exactly who you're looking for and how to connect with them. And here's the last little tidbit that I'm going to give you. Track these conversations. So whether you put it in the notes in your phone, whether you have a spreadsheet, whatever your CRM is, and I know if you're not a strategic thinker and you're like, Heather, don't get me to track anything, you got to write it down. And I want you to circle back to that person about a week and say, hey, it was so great connecting with you last week. Thank you again for thinking of me. And, as a reminder, if you said blah, 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 you were going to introduce me to somebody, you're not going to say it like that, but you'll circle back and say, thank you again, for thinking of me, and, making that intro via email. Or if you haven't done it yet, no problem. Just wanted a gentle reminder. And that person is probably going to say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for reminding me. I'm going to do it now. We're busy people. We have full lives. You have to hold space for people in order for them to help you. And people really want to help. We really want to help. We want to make a bigger impact. And I see it all the time in my life where people are like, what can I do? What can I do? And I kind of look at them and I'm like, I don't know. What can you do? It's actually takes away from the other person when you don't know how people can help you. It's so important for you to be direct in your asking. So again, for today's conversation, it's the unconventional way to get your next client. You don't need the fancy website. You don't need the fancy funnel. You don't need the fancy newsletter. I mean, all of these things are great, okay? They're so great and they're advanced strategies. But I'm telling you, I know so many people who have made 6 figures to 7 figures, which is $1 million in their business without a website, without an email list, all based on conversations. And when you learn to become the type of person that gives tremendous value and you can receive tremendous value, this is where the magic happens, because it's by mouth, right? Your referral by mouth. People are like, this woman changed my life. You need to connect with her, right? This woman changed my life. You need to connect with her. And people spend and buy from people because of relationships. That's it. But you have to stop with the conventional ways of meet and greets. And what I mean by meet and greets is like the old corporate bullshit ways. You have to think of real humans and giving real value. So much of what I saw before COVID and business was busy work, like in-person busy work, where you're going to these events and you're leaving going, I'm tired. I'm not actually fulfilled. So how can you give value to the person in front of you and have a direct ask and follow-up strategy? Now, I want you to implement this. I want you to take action, and I want you to get your next client. And when you do, I want to know about it. So send me a text, 313-710-5199. And if you are ready to up-level your life and your business, let's talk. heatherchauvin.com/work with me.
I'm Melissa. I am a wife, a mom of 2, a life coach, and a business owner. And I'm also a student of Heather's Mastery and Mastery Business programs. And I joined Heather in June in order to really start to expand my online presence as a business owner and really start to level up my offerings and get rid of those rejection stories that were keeping me playing small in my business and in my personal life. Since working with Heather, I've been able to sign more clients consistently per month than I have before. I've been able to let go of a lot of the perfectionist tendencies and hesitations I had around showing up in my life and my work. And I've also made a huge difference in putting myself on the calendar. And there's no way that I would have been able to do that without the support and structure and accountability that Heather's community offers. So I may know all the things about self-care, but it's really there comes a time where you realize it's just not enough what you know, and you really need that aspect of community to help you get to that next stage. So whether you're looking to show up differently in your life, show up differently in your business or your work, this is the place for you. If you have questions or hesitations, just stop. Just take the leap of faith. I know for myself that it's sometimes hard to put a tangible price or metric on change, but I know that I've changed in so many important ways since I started working with Heather, and you can too.
Well, that's it. And I wanted to thank you for listening today, because I truly believe you are exactly where you need to be. And now I have a favor to ask. In exchange for the value you've gained from this free podcast, I'd be forever grateful if you would leave us a review on iTunes. Share the show with at least one woman in your life who you feel would benefit, and or take a screenshot and share it on social media. And always feel free to tag me at Heather Chauvin. The world does not benefit from your guilt and fatigue. The world needs more women who are willing to unlearn everything they've been taught. Women who are courageous enough to feel good and not let guilt run the show. I believe you are that courageous woman. To see if my community and coaching is the right fit for you and your big vision, the relationships you desire, the money, time, energy that you know deep down you are capable of creating, then head on over to heatherchauvin.com/work with me. That's Heather Chauvin. CHAUVIN.com/work with me, and take the next step in the right direction. Taking a stand for how you feel means you are taking a stand for how your children show up as adults. And if you have a personal question or topic you'd like me to answer on the podcast, text me 313-710-5199. 313-710-5199. You are so worthy of feeling good. Now go do some scary shit.